Hello everybody. First stream. Okay, so I've got Stanley Parable up. I've got to pull it up on my screen, and I have my laptop over here so I can see all of your chats and stuff like that. Okay, let's get over there. Sorry about the other two weird short little streams. I'm just trying to figure out a bunch of different problems, and I finally got them figured out. So, okay. Pulling up Stanley Parable. Okay. Have that a little bit. Turning down my background music a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna have it play out of. There we go. Okay, so it's playing out of my laptop right now. Full screen. Keep resolution. Okay. Here we go. Turn this down just a little bit more. Turn. Okay. We're good now. Okay. So, super excited. I've played this before. And yes, I did get the Ultra Deluxe. I really like it. But, I have played this before. I played about 3 hours maybe. and I was like, there's so many things, and I was just talking to myself doing it, and I'm like, I need to start streaming. I was like, this game, it has to be streamed just because of my reactions and what I have to say. So we're gonna play it on stream now. Anyways, as an introduction, hi, I'm Kira. I am not completely new to streaming, but it has been like 4 years, so I haven't, no, it wasn't 4 years, it was probably like 2, but I have no idea. I had no idea what I was doing back then, and I still don't, so we're gonna learn all this together. This is my whole setup. Here in my room, I've got like all sorts of pictures back there, as you can see. Marble wall, there's some Star Wars stuff over that way, and all sorts of different posters. I've got my tower here, and I've got all this stuff here, and I got more pictures here. So, and my dog's here too. He's just sleeping back there. And that picture on my starting soon screen is the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus. I bought it. He's actually over here. His name's Sparky. And I've got some of the other dinosaurs up here because, as my username suggests, I love dinosaurs. Okay, I have a claw clip in my hair. It's driving me nuts. Okay, let's begin.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Sorry.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I gotta move. Can I? Okay. Click, click. I don't remember how to. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, so I was gonna say, if you've never played this or ever watched somebody play it, basically, I'm Stanley, right? And there's a bunch of different, like, walkthroughs you can do. And I was gonna mention something, I'm just so super excited to get my bucket back. Because, one of the options is there's a bucket, and, it was my bucket, and I have pictures of it on my phone because of how much I loved the bucket when I got to it. Okay. Turn that. See, I heard about this game through Markiplier. I'm gonna look at some settings real quick because my camera sensitivity is crazy. Where's it? Okay, there we go. But I heard about this game through Markiplier. I watch his stuff all the time, and I was like, I need to get this game, and it went on sale.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I watched a few of his things, or lost my train of thought for a second. I was like, oh, I need to get this. Game went on sale, and I bought it, so. Okay, today, I don't know if I want to actually, like, listen to him, because I did that, and we're gonna go. Okay.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Room closet, yes.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
See, I'm gonna do nothing, and I'm just gonna stay.
There was nothing here.
I
No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
I'm just gonna lean back and take a sip of my water, because
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Yep, I am.
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Yes,
Standing
I am.
around doing nothing?
Yep.
Why?
Because
Please
I am.
offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Because I want to. I want to irritate you. It's my job.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out.
No.
But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
Yeah.
I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
He's gonna wait with us.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid.
Oh.
He probably only got the
Wow.
job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is.
That's just me.
That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Not gonna get me to do anything.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You
No.
got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have
I'm not
fallen
dead.
prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities.
So glad my dad
It's
isn't
indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, When you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
I'm still not moving. I'm not doing it. I've never actually gotten totally through this section, so we'll see how it goes. Do. Okay, I guess I'll take this time to introduce myself a little bit more. So like I said, my name's Kira. You guys can call me pretty much anything. I go by like EJ, which was like my old stuff for YouTube and like Twitch and all that stuff. But you can call me EJ, you could call me Dinosaur, Dino Lover, you know what, whatever. As you can see, I clearly love dinosaurs. But, I am a senior in high school. Just started, it's gonna be starting here in a couple months. I really like Marvel and obviously dinosaurs. In Star Wars, I love D&D, I love Minecraft, like all sorts of different video games and that. I used to play Five Nights at Freddy's, and you know, I used to love like the Dream SMP and all that stuff, but I am not into it anymore. It's just not it anymore. And I love Transformers. Transformers are great. And I have all sorts of different video games. So I have all the stuff that I have on my Steam. So like Stanley Parable, Stray, Sims, Prehistoric Kingdom, Jurassic World Evolution 2, whatever, I can't think of, Phasmophobia, and I have some games on my Oculus, and then I also have some stuff, I also have a bunch of video games on my PlayStation, such as Gran Turismo 7, favorite game of all time. Well, favorite game of all time would probably be Gran Turismo 5 on the PlayStation. Was it, did I have a PS3 or a PS4? I think it was PS3. That game is great, so I ended up getting the Gran Turismo 7 on my PlayStation 5. I have a Nintendo Switch that I have a ton of games on, and I also have a Wii. I don't have many games on that, I just have what my aunts gave me from the Wii. But yeah, this is taking a really long time. I'm casually just waiting here for this stupid narrator to come back, and it's taking forever. I don't want to move because I want to get this ending, but I also just want to leave because this is taking forever. I don't know how long it's supposed to take. I could look it up. How long does the broom closet ending take? How long does the closet ending. Oh my god, that's the first thing. Room closet ending. How long do I have to wait? Oh, I already achieved it. I'm stupid. Okay, Sparky, you gotta go back to your hiding spot back here. Oh my god, my dinosaur. Okay. I already achieved it.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board.
That's the
I
ending.
guarantee
Okay.
you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
Whatever. Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh gosh. Like. It's this way.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2845.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Yep, I'm stepping into the passageway. See, I'm starting to remember a lot of the stuff from the first time I played it through. But I don't want to say anything because I don't need to spoil it anything.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I'll go through the escape later.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I do have the strength. I'm a strong, independent woman.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Wow, so many numbers. There's a way you can like look for his number, and I could. I think it's, what is it, 427? I think that's my employee number. Yeah, 427. Right there. That dark one. 426, 427, 427. Okay. I want to leave.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof,
Okay.
the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Wow. I'm gonna wake up in my office. Wait, no, I'm not. I'm gonna...
Blackness
I'm in this.
and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Probably not.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel.
Except you're gonna be doing
Whatever
this
life he
for
lives,
4 hours.
it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
I can't, because... Okay.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Was I? I'm gonna wake up right now. Back in my office. See? I'm back in my office. How wonderful.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. See, this time? Stupid chair's in the way. Okay. I don't know how I jumped up there, but... Yeah, okay. Whatever. You know, I think my Smosh t-shirt got delivered.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I'll be right back. Okay, you're in the way. Okay, lay down. Hey, Baron, lay down. Baron, bed. Lay your butt down. Do it. Lie down. Down. Okay. I'm back. I got my package. Let's lay down. This is my Smash t-shirt. Now I can be a cool kid. Oh, it stinks. And it's big. Looks great. So it's just a puffy t-shirt and it just says Smosh. I want to add some design to it, but I'm not sure where. Okay, we're just gonna set that there. Okay, back to the game. Yeah, my hands kind of stink. Okay.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
There's not much to drink in.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Do I? Nope. Ah.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Yep. That's me.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
For her? Who's for her?
This is it, Stanley.
Who's her?
Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
Her?
She's been waiting.
I actually don't remember what this is supposed to be about.
That's her, Stanley.
Oh, is this my wife?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Oh, God. Oh.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Bro, you didn't have to diss me like that. Also, I hate mannequins. Why would you do... Ugh, she's creepy.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Death. R?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
This is a very sad place.
But in his mind, in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Possibly.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
I think it's supposed to look like this.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
You're annoying as heck.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Okay. We're back on track. Sorry if you're getting annoyed that I keep looking over here. It's how I see the chat, so.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
How about no? New content, yes.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
So, I just lost my recording space. So, I can't record my thing anymore. So I'm just streaming. That's all I'm doing now. Okay.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe
You're
content.
not gonna be happy when you see it.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere?
You gotta be
Oh,
patient.
there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if the... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Prepare to be disappointed.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle?
See, I can't... I wasted all my jumps last time. So we're only gonna do 5. So I can save them for later.
Is that it?
Yep.
Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
I have no say. You just restarted the game without asking. Well, you asked, but then... Oh! Yes. It's just a...
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
We're crawling in the vent, just like, Clint does. Like Clint Barton in all of the Marvel fanfics.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special, and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret.
Oh,
Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
right now, I've never played the original Stanley Parable. So, if I don't get references...
You see,
that's
Stanley,
why.
doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Little Stanley.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
I think we can get out this way.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Oh, okay. So
These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no.
reviews.
Oh
Look at all
God,
these.
no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't
Yeah,
looked at
that's
these
where I
in
bought
years.
this.
I can't even imagine what's been collecting
Can I
down
put
here.
that in, please?
Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Thank you.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Sticks. Okay. Hey, it's raining like it is outside. That's why I had to rush to get my package because I didn't want it to get wet. Ooh, another.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure.
Oh, I can go this way.
Like I let these people down.
I really don't.
Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well,
Yeah, a little.
well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45...
I don't care.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
I'm gonna push it again.
You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're...
Bye.
Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk
When I
to
first played
again.
through this, I thought
Stanley,
it was gonna be like,
I think
it
it's
was
been
gonna
a
turn into
week.
some horror game.
Or 2 weeks.
And I thought something was gonna come
I've been
out of its
sitting here
guts
all
over
that
here.
time. Just... Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been...
And he's gone. Yay. Let me click. Come on. Here we go.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed. The end is never the end, 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 is never...
I think he's struggling. Starting to drip over there. See, this is another section that I was like, please don't tell me it's gonna like, something's gonna come out and get me. Son! This is why I was looking around every time I was doing it, because I was waiting for this to happen. Jungle. I wish I could get out right now. It looks so beautiful in there, you know? It looks gorgeous. And destruction. Another section that I thought was gonna... Another section that I thought... Especially with that noise. Wow. I think it pops back up. Thought it did. I'm back in my office.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, I'm getting hungry. New content!
Oh, good.
Bucket!
You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Bear, bear. Come here. Come here, baby. Hi. Oh my god. No. Fell. Again. Okay. Bear, bear. Come here. You gotta look up here. Don't go. You see my poppers? Bear, bear. Yeah, you can see them, kind of. Let me see if I can. There we go. Flashlight on him. I'm waiting for it to show up so I can. Yeah, there you go. You can see him. Okay, go like back down. Go to bed. Or just lay down somewhere. Baron, lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Down. Hey. Sit. Down. He's just down here now. Originally he had been in the bed further back, but he's just lying here now. Okay, elevator.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Yeah. I'm so
Yes,
excited.
you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game, here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
So there's the button, jump circle, and the infinite hole. The reassurance bucket! I was not paying attention. Go, 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 go. My bucket. My bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable.
Right there.
Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution.
I want the bucket.
Come on, give it a try.
There we go.
Can you feel it?
Yes,
The glow
I can.
of comfort,
It is my
even in the
bucket
face
now.
of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an
I have a
air of
graphic on.
charisma as
I don't
well?
have a bucket.
I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
I got a text message. Whoever just commented that, I do not want it. So that's, yeah, not okay. Leave me alone. Just uno momento. Ah. Okay. Just sending something to my friends. Okay. We have secured my bucket.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along.
Yeah.
Happy
Got it.
12th birthday, step-niece, it
I
is.
remember that he would choose the opposite one, so I want those.
Or actually,
You know,
maybe I should have gone with... No.
free,
No,
new,
I've
easy
made my
achievement.
decision. We're moving on.
Let's go get the new achievement. This is
Now,
not
here's something
creepy at
special.
all.
You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the
Ah,
game on
yes.
accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken.
Well,
I'm
that's
not a
stupid.
wizard,
Give me
Stanley,
the
but I
frickin'
guarantee it
achievement.
will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Fine, whatever. I don't care. You're just mean. Yeah, if there's a convention and you have to go through someplace like that to go look at something,
What else?
please
What
don't.
other exhibits haven't we seen
See?
yet?
Jump circle. Still have 30 remaining.
You know what, Stanley? I actually think the jump circle was a pretty good idea. I'd like to hang on to that for the sequel.
Okay. Collectibles. I need to go look at this one. And then we will do the infinite last.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable
Well, that's
life.
sad. Okay, remember how I was talking about I don't like mannequins from that other thing? I don't like mannequins! And that weird thing is just creepy. Collect them all. Pokemon, gotta catch them all.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now
What?
that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
What if I want a new t-shirt? Okay. The button. The button. Did I? Okay, you just have to go walk through that. Okay. I'm hungry. I ate my olives already.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be
want a big
individually
button.
recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate
But
the
I'm
full
not Jim.
experience
I'm
of this
Stanley.
feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to Jim. Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If
care.
you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button.
cares?
Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first.
No.
Now, allow yourself to become Jim. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
I want No, let me just keep...
See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name the button says. But no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
Okay, at least I have my bucket. Okay, now we can go look at the infinite hole, which is the best one. Well, besides bucket. Best one, besides bucket, is the hole. Okay,
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable too. They would appreciate what I've created here.
Okay, so I got the collectibles from the exit over there, and there's a weird staircase back that way. There's another thing. Oh, there's a staircase. Oh my god, I didn't even see some of this other stuff. Okay, we gotta go do the infinite hole first, and then I'll look at this other stuff.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
No.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top.
No.
Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Nope. I'm gonna fall down the hole.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look,
Yeah.
I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely?
Me?
I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you... Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much.
Yes, the
Not
problem
normal.
is me.
A normal
I
person would have said,
I
yep,
agree.
that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole,
best
you can
part
hit
is
the
coming up
teleport
here
button
soon.
and come join me up
And it's the
above.
entire reason.
Had enough?
Why
I'm
are-
positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lies. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're
I'm
obsessed
so
with
simple. I'm
holes,
just
but
a
at this
child at heart.
depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working?
Yeah.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
The reason I'm pulling out my phone this time is because I have to record what's going to be happening here in a second. We had it moving. This music is great. And this is my favorite part. Me in the butt. Dude, he is ugly. It's literally just four or three people. Oh, and I gotta do that. What is that? Oh my god! Ooh, I like that though. That's actually really cool.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley!
No.
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley.
That was
because
sad.
this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
Bring us forth. Oh. That. Bruh. Okay. And I've been locked out.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Can I? Is the button back? Is the button back? Please let me know. Please let me. No, the button isn't back. That's so sad. That is too tiny of a button. I like that big button. I like big buttons. I also like big butts. I really did just say that. Oh.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
I see. Settings, world champion. I have not gone up to this one. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I have to go into the settings.
This is the...
I should probably turn my music down just a bit. And
This is...
Bruh. I can't even go into the settings world champion thing. Sad. Anywho. I guess I'm leaving. You're stupid. And I explored everything.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
No, but I can't get to the one thing.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how
My
exactly
bucket,
these features will come together as one single
circle
coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
That's even worse.
Who am I kidding, Stanley?
Why are there two of the...
This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything.
Oh,
I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply,
Hey, it's me.
well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oh. Wow. Begin the game.
This is the story of a man named... All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed. Stanley picked up the bucket.
I did pick up the bucket.
Stanley clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone?
I want to do that stupid thing with the computers.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Yes.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room?
Yes.
Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I love my bucket.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once
Dark
again
room?
obeyed blindly.
It's not a dark room. Oh, this dark room.
Now pick up the phone.
Ugh. So bright.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket.
Can I ring the doorbell?
Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
The bucket can speak to me. It's my bucket.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship.
My bucket!
It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
I get to normal stuff here.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley,
Hungry.
can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket.
It's
It
not
can't
just a
think.
bucket.
It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Don't listen to the loud man. Press G. Yep.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Don't call my bucket stupid.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it. Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket.
It's not.
Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket? Oh no, I'm having feelings for the bucket. No, 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 no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket.
No!
Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley.
No!
I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
It's my bucket. Go back to work, Stanley. It's my bucket. Swear to God, if my bucket isn't there.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
See, I want to do that stupid weird thing, but okay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
Yep.
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
No!
You can feel that,
Can't
can't
have
you?
the bucket.
The aura of jealousy. It says coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay. I'm just doing random stuff. I don't. I'm also deciding where to go. Take a moment to show you my bucket. This was holding my moon stress ball, but it's got these two little things in here. Let's see if yeah, you can tell what it is. So bucket of rocks. It's great. My stepdad got that for me, so that I can be like, oh yeah, I only have limited amount of box left. Or if I run out, I can be like, I have no more place to get. Sorry. Cool. Why are those papers glowing? Oh my god. Oh. So it's literally just if I just sit in here. It's nothing. Oh, okay. So I guess that's just to waste time. Okay. I think I did that the last time, but I don't really. Oh, it's been this one the whole time.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
4.
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
4.
Even now, in his but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket
No,
guiding
I got
him?
that.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
We're gonna go down this. Yeah. Yeah.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember,
I did.
no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure
I don't
of a
care.
job well done. You can't buy that sort of
Let me
happiness,
go.
Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines. The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Okay.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Yep. Grab it like it's hot. Okay, it's gonna be.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to
That's
be.
just you,
To be
Josh.
sure,
That
it puts
does
the
not
mind and the
mean
soul
that's
at
what
ease
I
to
mean.
embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket
That's how I
everywhere.
feel about the narrative.
Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
Loki, I was.
In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death. It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
It's gone. Why my bucket gone? Why my bucket gone?
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket
Give me
like
my
this
bucket.
and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Yes. Buckets were around before we knew how to make metal.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Yeah.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do
Not
together,
really.
you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Nah.
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the
No!
machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another...
Oh, this is a different place. Bro. See my elephant?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on it. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the... And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Nope. We going down the elevator. I saw something move, so I'm gonna check.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
The yellow line.
You see,
Yellow
your
line.
friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
I do want a
Yes,
bucket.
I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Nope. I refuse.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
Oh,
That's
not
why
this
I'm
crap.
very proud to introduce a brand new character.
No.
This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character
swap
with
out
so
a
much
bucket?
personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you.
I think I'm stupid.
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
No.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the bucket destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the bucket destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of bucket destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the bucket destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the bucket destroyer until you crush that damn bucket.
No.
Quickly now. The fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Boom.
The bucket destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
I think I left it to just not. I thought I actually had to destroy it, so I just destroyed it. Ah. Bucket.
There's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
Why'd you call me on that phone? That's not even my office phone.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Oh, here we go. Do I just have to click the screen? I've been that stupid all along that I didn't know you just had to click the screen.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
We'll go to this stupid thing.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you?
Ooh,
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes. I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
I can get that. I feel like I actually can. Oh, right.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
No, one of these is my bucket.
It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
What? Bruh.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Huh?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
I'm a woman now?
She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work.
Oh.
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket.
Yeah, he stole my bucket.
He'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Yes, I would love to backflip all the way to work. It's my computer. Haha! I did another thing! Welcome, Stanley, to heaven! Why are there... This is weird. They're buttons! Oh, they turned back on. That's stupid. So we'll just keep pushing the buttons. Button that looks completely different. it's raining out. I can hear it. Okay. Okay. So, that's all that does? I don't get it, man. This really is all there is. Okay. Unless I'm crazy. Let's look it up. Because I want to know if there's something heaven ending Stanley Parable. Oh, okay. So it does nothing.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
The only thing
Stanley
you can do-
decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
Yeah, so it said the only thing only thing different, or the only thing you can really do is it's just
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting
you
room,
do is
but
literally
Stanley had felt the bucket
only
calling
way
to
to get
him,
out of it
telling
or
him
do
that the
anything else
employee
is
lounge
have to
was
try to
simply the
keep
place to
start.
be.
No.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't
I wanna
talk.
see if anything-
But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Actually, you know what? I will restart game. I don't feel like going there.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read,
Yep.
Mind Control Facility.
Yep.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Yeah, it's raining out.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
That was such a weird...
What?
I
Wait,
forgot about this.
what was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Nope.
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms, not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room, but at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I?
I will be okay.
Stanley gulped.
I do have a bucket.
Very soon now, he was about to find out.
I forgot that this was a bucket. This is my bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Just once.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Oh, it tells me somewhere both red and blue. A private but smelly place for an important person. Large room. Lots. That's the one that's in that place. Somewhere both red and blue. I haven't seen somewhere both red and blue. A private but smelly place for an important person. What's that?
Oh, no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Is there a bathroom somewhere in this place? Is that what I'm trying to look for that private place?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk.
That's a
What
door.
could its purpose be?
No, that's not.
In fact,
No, I don't.
this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
What if I just didn't do it? And figure that for a possibility.
2845.
I think he opens it. And that's what he does. If I remember correctly. He gets fed up and just opens it for me.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
What if I don't go in? Will he do anything to me about it for it? Just leave it. He's gonna do anything. I guess I'll just go. Okay, private stinky place. For an important person. The room with both red and blue. But and then the lots of boxes room, but I don't know how to get there.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I'll try not turning it off this time.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant
I'm sorry
nothing.
if it seems like I'm not talking as much now. I'm kind of tired. But I want to get to
This mind
the
control
things.
facility,
Which
it
we'll
was
get
too
to.
horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
Yes.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Okay.
But
so I
here
need to
was the
find where all
proof,
these buttons
the heart of the
are.
operation. Controls
over here.
labeled with emotions, happy
then-
or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
1, 2. Can't. One, 2. I think that's number 4 up there. Not entirely sure. 5's over here. Yeah. Okay.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Yep.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do.
Oh.
But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life?
No!
Or will you let it go peacefully?
I was so close.
Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
All of
Let's
his
go
co-workers
do it
were
again!
gone. What
Oh,
could it
turns-
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. he wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job.
I thought we already established.
All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
That was some deep crap.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
Oh,
And everything went black.
Oh. Cue the SVU noise.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. Well, everybody, I am going to end here for today. I'm very tired, so, okay. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys liked it.